I cannot lose hope.
They lied to you, Father. I'm your true memory.
To save the future, the past must be sacrificed.
Failure, ambivalence, death.
Irrelevant!
Hello everybody, I'm back with another build. This one is my Tornado of Elemental Turbulence Aristocrat. Now this originally started off as sort of a meme build that actually turned it into, I would say, kind of a solid build. It does decent damage. It's not paper thin defensively. It kind of worked out really nicely. The concept is built around Tornado of Elemental Turbulence, getting it as high level as possible. That was the meme, is to get it to 40. And it's showing 39 right now, but it should be 40, and I'll tell you why. So Awakened added Fire. At level 5, you get +1 to supported physical skill gems, and then at level 10, it says +2. And it says +2 on this tooltip, but if I unequip it and I hover over it, it goes under 38. I re-equip it, it's 39. It's not actually giving me 2, at least on screen. I don't know if damage-wise it's giving the +2. On POB it's giving +2, but in the game right now it's not giving the +2, so, which is kind of disappointing, because that's kind of the whole meme. But you get all of these levels through a variety of different reasons. It's the reason you go Aristocrat. You get the +1 to all skill gems level, and you get the +3 to all non-exceptional gems. That's where the added Fire would have taken it to 40. It was that kind of concept. Originally, I had thought up of kind of going all of the Awaken added and getting it that way, but then I just felt like it wasn't going to do that much damage. That was too meme. And then I realized you could get to 40 through other means, and that's you get +3. So you have +1 from the Ascendancy. You have +3 from your replica Dragonflights for Tornado. You have and this is crazy, you can get +6 from your staff with a +3 to all of specific spell skill gem, and then +2 to all spell skill gems, and then the rune crafting enchant for another +1. So you don't have to get all +3 to lightning skills. It could be fire, it could be cold, it could be fizz. It just has to be one of the three, which is actually, it makes it nice to be able to buy one. I think if I could buy a perfect one, it'd be fizz. That kind of opens up a lot more avenues to try different skills, because the fizz as extra is sort of how you're getting a lot of your damage. And then on top, and then the last bit of it is from an Empower 4, plus a Skin of the Lords. The point blank, it's just point blank doesn't do anything. I just got a Skin of the Lords that wasn't going to brick the build. There's not really too many beneficial ones that you could really get. I am taking 2 Keystones, so you could save a point with Iron Will. You could save a point with Divine Shield. And then there's the one that makes, I forgot the name of it off the top of my head, but it's the one that this Corrupted Soul, Unwavering Stance, so that you can have stun immunity, because you really don't have, the build doesn't have any real evasion. And so the rest of the supports for the Tornado is Inspiration support. One thing that's actually really neat about Inspiration support is if you can get it above level 25, the scaling of per Inspiration charge goes from 5% more elemental damage to 6. So by just getting this an extra level, you get it up, and you get an extra 5% more damage when you're at full inspiration charges, which you always are. And it helps keep the cost down, and it gives you crit, because you're going crit. I've increased crit damage for crit multi. I'm using Awaken increased area of effect just to have more area of effect, and then I can swap it with concentrated effect for bosses. In the video in the clip you just saw before against the Uber Shaper kill, I was actually using energy shield support, and I had leveled a couple times, and I had gotten energy shield leech from this thing, so I felt like I just wanted a little bit of energy shield. Now, and then last is Awaken Added Fire. Because you're getting this up to level 40, you get a ton of base fizz damage on the skill that gets converted. And so fizz is extra of an element is a very powerful thing, because this is 3 tornadoes doing 1972 to 2958 physical damage every quarter of a second, and you have 3 of them hitting. So you have Awaken Added Fire, which gives you have that. You have Hatred, which is another incredible one, and then Herald of Ash. So you have those 3 giving you a ton of damage. So I have a lot of this fizz with extra damage. As far as going crit, and since you're doing all 3 elemental damage, Secrets of Suffering is very powerful. You're going crit. Shock would be nice, but the ability to lower resistances. The big one is obviously Brittle for increased base crit to get you crit capped. So when this is on bosses, it's usually around 3 to 4. You're almost crit capped with that, so that's really strong. And then on the and then the increased damage. So you have all this this fizz is extra, and then for percentage increased damage, I have a combination basically of this Unnatural Instinct, Light of Meaning combo here in the Scion area with fizz damage. It gives a ton of fizz damage, and then I'm using Mark of the Shaper for another bit for 90% increased spell damage with an Elder Ring, and then the Elder Ring is nice because it has global crit multi on it. The rest of the gear is just rares with armor and energy shield. Because of where I've positioned on the tree and the fact that I'm using Skin of the Lords, which gives 100% global defenses, it felt really good to just stack armor and energy shield so you can take a bit of hits. You have Divine Shield for a little bit of thing. You have Glancing, and then I'm also going black. So the staff gives 25% chance to block while wielding the staff, and so you take these nodes plus these nodes here, and then Glancing Blows for to be able to have 75 attack and spell block, although it only blocks 35% of the damage, but it helps mitigate some of the damage. And then you have Leech with Doriani's Lesson and Thaumaphage. And then you're able to mitigate, you're able to split that damage I'm using Corrupted Soul. So whenever I get hit by something, I'm taking half of it's being taken by energy shield and half is being taken by my life, and then the leech can double up on that. So that's basically the concept. The only other thing is that you'll see on my bar I have Enfeeble. I'm only using this because of this Balance of Terror, which is giving me, so when I cast Enfeeble I get a little bit more crit multi. It's not necessary, it's just a little bit more of a extra. I just bought this one. It's for the Elemental Weakness one, which is the one you really want. So you want to use Assassin's Mark on bosses, but you can, I have Whispers of Doom, so you have 2 curses. So while you're kind of around mapping, since you can't use Mark on hit, since you don't have an attack, you can kind of just spam both of these on packs, and it'll help. And then everything else is pretty straightforward. I guess I will note that you could go one of these instead of the quality of the gem, but I felt like Tornado of of Elemental Turbulence actually gets a lot from quality. I'm getting, it gives you 36%, well, I think it's 32% more, something like that, more movement speed on the tornado. So the tornadoes move faster, and you'll see in the mapping showcase after this explanation how that works out. I think that's really it. I don't want to ramble too much more. The rest of the tree seems pretty self-explanatory. It's a mix of life, armor, and energy shield. This, I'm only level 90 right now. And then I'll put a point here, grab a life, and then 2 crit multi jewels. And then I'll be taking these fizz ones are really strong. And then the increased physical damage with skills that cost life with the next few levels. Is what I have planned. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. I guess one last thing is I am using a Mage Blood. So, although I don't think it is specifically a necessary item in this build, the build can work without Mage Blood. It just makes things nicer. It makes you a little bit more tanky, a little bit more faster. It helps you get closer to crit cap, and then to avoid ailments. It's just, it's definitely helpful, but it's not, I don't think it's necessary. You could get your resistances elsewhere, and like if you had a different belt, you could have resistances on your belt to cap that out. So thanks for watching. Enjoy the mapping the T17 map showcase afterwards. Bye.
Also helps if I have another 80% win rate the whole time. If I don't, then we'll see. Also, how many of those are in stacks? In top 500, I would say the majority, if not all of the top 500 players at like high rank play in stacks. I used to play with a cyber guy in solo queue last season, a decent amount. I think I never saw him under a duo or trio. But that's normally like the high rank stuff though, right? That is... Okay, 1 sec.
In a chorus.